So it really doesn't matter on it. So I'm gonna use front. I'm gonna put circle. Bring that circle up. So the big one is 6.125, correct?
The radius.
The radius, right?
So it's 12.25?
So 6.125 times 2. Let this do the math for you, right?
Okay.
12.25. That easy. That way you don't gotta break your head or have a calculator out or anything like that, right? So we're gonna smart dimension this one now. So this one is the second one, which is 5.313, right? 5.313 times 2. Right? So the smarter one, that's gonna be 4 inches in radius, right? So that's easy enough to know that it's gonna be 8, correct? So I'm just gonna put 8 in here. Right? So now I'm gonna draw a line, and I'm just gonna put it from the center, and I'm just gonna center it up here, right? So that's that line. So I'm gonna draw another line, and I'm just gonna put it out here anywhere I want, right? Bring it down, hit escape. So I know from this distance, since this one is 759 thick, right? So 0.759 divided by 2. Boom. There goes that, right? If you don't like the way this looks, if it's too funky or whatever, you could always trim it out, right? So I'm just gonna trim this and this so it could give me this up here, correct? Now, let me see what let me, no, it's not. Since this is connected, it is not gonna like me, whatchamacallit, going from here to here. So if I push this one and this one, it's not gonna give me my degrees. Does that make sense? But we know that from here, this line over here, it's actually going 10 degrees, right? So if I make another line, and I start it there, and I'm gonna just bring it over here, anywhere I want, right? Hit escape now. So now if I put smart dimension, and I click this line and this line, my degrees comes out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 10 degrees, right? Boom. So now I could trim those lines that I don't need.
And mirror flip.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to that. So that's that one, right? This line should have been brought all the way down here. So I'm just gonna grab it, make sure that it says 90 degrees, and connect it, correct? So now in this case, I could trim this one to take that one out. All right, you guys see how this is making a connection, right? So right now, if I try to do that radius, it's not gonna like it because it's saying, hey, this one's connected over here, right? So I have to trim this line in order to give me that radius, right? So now I go back over here to sketch fillet. So that radius is 0.563, right?
Yep.
0.563 coming from this line to that line, correct? Boom. There goes that. Now, am I missing anything on here? Everything looks good, right? So now I could go to the mirror command. Entities to mirror. I'm going to mirror this, 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 and this. About what? This plane, correct? Hit the check mark. There it goes, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim this line that I don't, well, wrong one. Hit the backspace, zoom in so I don't make the mistake again. Trim that line, right? So now it's a solid, correct?
Looks like frying pan.
Yeah. So if I leave this on here though, guys, you see how this has a little curve on there?
Mm-hmm.
It might end up messing up with the actual rotation because the lines are going to overlap, but we'll see if it does or not, right? But now I could go to mirror entities. So I'm gonna mirror this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one. Mirror about crap.
You didn't draw
Did
your
you do the circle?
horizontal line. Yeah, don't you do linear sketch
Yeah,
pattern?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Circle
Good catch.
sketch pattern.
Circular.
Boy, I remember something.
So it's gonna be this, 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 this.
SD.
12.
Yeah, so it automatically got the point from here, right? So I'm gonna make this to 12. Hit the check mark.
Ba-bam.
Boom. Right, so now we're gonna trim all of these guys that it made, right? And we could see it.
Oh.
Crap. Went over. Ah, it took all of them out.
No, it didn't.
No, that didn't. What are you doing? Trim. Alright, so there goes my solid, correct? Features, extrude boss, and I can make it as thick as it is, which is
Half inch.
Half inch.
half inch. Got it. 0.5. So it says that it's holding more than one upper contour.
That one
So you
line
see
right
that
there.
line right there?
Yeah.
That line and this line?
Yeah.
It's not liking that, right? So I have to go back and trim them. There we go, right? Like I said, Solidworks doesn't like it if you have a solid line on there. Now you see how it pops out? Hit the check mark. Boom. Right? Now, as we said before, I could work on any plane that I want on this, correct? Any plane that I want just by simply clicking it, right? But if we make this one, if I click this plane to start out with, it's gonna make that at an angle coming down, because that plane's at an angle. Does that make sense? So when I extrude a cut, it's gonna extrude it like that. So it's gonna cut down here too. Does that make sense? So we have to start it on this one that it's flat. So that plane is actually gonna be out here in front of it in space.
So here's a quick question.
No.
So on them two planes, there's actually a radius right there.
On where?
Right between that.
Right here?
No, up.
That
Between
corner,
that one and that
right
one,
there?
there's actually a
Okay, yeah.
radius.
So if that radius, if I missed it, right, I could just go back over here, go to sketch, edit sketch, right? And just come back over here and include it.
Right, I'm just wondering, is that gonna make a difference when you're trying to do this
it's
that
not gonna make a
step?
difference.
Okay.
So sketch fillets, yeah, I asked you guys if I missed something, y'all said no. So that's what, 1.438?
Yep.
Ah, now I gotta do it on all of them. Just imagine that it's there on all.
No, no, just
Just do
linear
one
sketch
on that,
pattern.
we can Go from there.
Can't you linear sketch pattern it around the
It's
circle?
gonna be on one side, and it's not gonna be on both of them.
Well, just do one side and then do the second one. You only do it twice,
Well,
Yeah, we only need.
2 times instead of.
Yeah, there we go.
24
We don't need
times.
the one sprocket.
Yeah, we only need the one that we're gonna do. Right. So, there it is.
And then there's another one too. You said there was 2 of them, Bill.
No,
Yeah,
so
where
we're,
you
we're
said
gonna
it.
make the flat right now, the other one. So remember, I gotta go to exit sketch, and there it is, right?
There, yeah.
So this is what Bill was talking about. There's another little one right here,
Okay.
right? So that's a flat, and then this is the little radius,
Curve.
and this one is really
A flat.
going to the plane that we're going to, right? So, coming back to our drawing, it looks like it's the extrude cut starts here, right? Not up here, correct? Do y'all concur? So, we go to sketch, sketch. Which plane do we want to work on? So I'm going to click on this one, correct? Automatically it turns it this way. Making it more difficult, but good thing I only have one of those radiuses so I know which one it is, correct? So now if I go to convert entities,
Convert.
it's asking me which one do I want to convert. So I want to convert pretty much this line. I could convert this line, and I'm just going to convert this line too. So when I hit the check mark, watch what happens. You guys see how that's at an angle coming back, right? Saw how I made it straight now? You guys see that?
Mine may go the other way.
But isn't I'm not looking at the drawing. Isn't there also a angle on the right side as well?
Yeah, it's on both of them. But we're gonna make one first and then we'll just copy on the other side. Are you guys this far?
Convert entities
Did you
is
click
right
this one
there.
first? And then this one, and then this one, and that one.
Still did.
So you start on the flat, the radius, the next flat, and then that horizontal at the top.
You gotta, let me see.
You copy.
Because, now remember, because if you click on that one, it's gonna go in this way like that, right? I explained that before I started doing this, but some of you guys were clicking, and y'all were like, well, it's still doing it. I just explained it, right?
1, 2, 3.
So pay attention while I'm doing it. Stop what you're doing for a while. Learn how to do it correctly,
plane
then do it
first.
yourself. Because obviously
And
I'm
then that
giving you
little
guys time to
plane,
do it. Yeah, I'm
and then
doing it
the
right,
top.
right? So, now this one. So I know that I don't need this line, correct? I really don't need that line either, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this one a little bit higher, because Solidworks, whenever you cut extrude, as long as there's nothing there above it, it doesn't care, right? It doesn't matter like where you're going or anything like that. So we're gonna draw another line from here, coming up to here, right? Then we can connect those. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Smart Dimension and tell it from here to here, I want you to be at, what is it?
8 degrees, I think.
8 degrees. So there's my 8 degrees, right? So now that I have that, I could go to Features, Extrude Cut. So I'm on blind. All I need to do is take it up till it passes it up, right? That's it. With Solidworks, it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be like, hey, this has to be the correct number or anything like that. As long as you pass it up and you're not hitting this feature, it doesn't matter.
You just got to cut through the material.
It has to go through it. Hit the check mark, boom. There goes our flat, right?
And then you flip it to the right side to get that back
Well,
side
we
in.
have to extrude the cut on this side because extruding the cut on the other side would be on the opposite side.
Right, but doesn't the bluept show us to have that same
No,
angle?
yeah, but what I'm talking about is when I extrude cut, you can only extrude cut one way because the extrude cut's gonna ask it for the other way. Now the sketch, the drawing, I can flip it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I want these guys to practice it. That's why we're not gonna do that. I want them to do it on both sides so they understand how to do it, right? Because the cut extrude that I just made, it cut extruded this way. If I do that on this side, it's gonna cut extrude on the other side. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
actually do two different cut extrudes, right? Now, look up here, guys. I'm not under a sketch, right? Look up here. You're the first one I asked. I'm not under a sketch, right? But if I look at sketch, I can't mirror my entities, right? But under features, I still have circle, mirror, and everything like that. Does that make sense? Under features, it's more like, hey, if I already extruded boss, extruded cut, or did anything, I could make that whole again without having to draw it again. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So here, I'm just gonna go to circular pattern again, right? Features to pattern, all I gotta do is click that one,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And then my direction, all I gotta do is click the front face. Boom.
Wow.
There they go. Check mark. I
Bam.
just made it wrong.
Man.
How long did that take?
About
Not
7
too long.
seconds. 7 seconds.
I'll hold day for us. Yeah.
12 hours playing around with it.
So it did end up not cutting this little part right here.
That's the radius on the other one.
Oh yeah, because you didn't put the radiuses on the other 11.
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah. So if you put the radius, it's gonna cut all of them. Does that make sense?
All
So
right.
that's gonna be cleaned up if you did.
So do the radiuses first.
Well, it's if I would have done this on one of these, it would have taken it out. But since this does have a radius, that material's still there. Does that make sense?
So now you can cut the radius
yeah,
later.
but it's no big deal. If you guys did the radiuses, you're not gonna have that.
Okay.
Right? But does that help you guys learn how to do it now?
No bit.
Kind of.
So exact same thing on the other side, guys, right? I'm gonna go to sketch it, right? Which plane? Make sure I click the flat one, correct? So I got the flat one, right? Now I'm gonna come zoom in. I'm gonna convert entities. Which ones am I gonna convert? This line, this line, this line, and I'm just gonna convert that line just so it can show better. Now we see that that's at an angle, right? Once I convert it, I'm gonna convert it to this plane. Does that make sense? So all these lines are gonna pop up forward. So hit the check mark, boom. You see how it popped forward, right? Now from here, like I said, I'm gonna take mine a little bit further out. So I'm just gonna erase that line. I'm gonna take this one up, because the thing about Solidworks is kind of like a spray. If there's a little piece of material that would have been shaven off, it's still gonna show just that little piece, right?
Little hair.
Yeah. So I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna click on that, bring this up to where that one's at, right?
And then
Start
connect.
dimension it from here to here. I need that 8 degrees, correct?
Yeah.
And then over here, I'm just gonna connect these two lines. Okay. I didn't get it right on the corner. So over here, I'm gonna connect these two lines. Dang it.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yep. Extrude cut. So we see it, it's right there. I'm extruding this out this way. It remembers the values that I put last time, correct? Hit the check mark, there it goes, right? So that, remember, that took me out of sketch. Whenever you extrude something, it's like, okay, you finished with me, we're done. Extrude, cut, or anything under the features, right? So now, under features, this is the point, guys. Some of you guys are gonna be like, I'm on sketch and it doesn't turn on. It's not in the sketch anymore, right?
Not under
We're not
features.
drawing anymore. We're moving a feature. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we go to features now. Linear pattern, circular pattern. Which one do we want? We want that flat, right? What direction? Around the direction of this surface. There they all go, right? Hit the check mark, boom, we're there.
Yeah, you got your ninja star.
Yep. I don't know, that would really be cool though. If somebody makes a ninja star and then we 3D print it. Of course not for lethal uses or nothing like that, guys. Just
For demonstration purposes only.
Yep. Alright, but that's how you make this one. Everybody good?
All good.
Alright, continue making your own.